Yeah, let's start. Today we're starting DevOps. So far we have finished Linux. I mean, not fully, whichever require at least for DevOps. So that's what are the major things in Linux that we have discussed. From today we'll start DevOps. So after this we'll continue with AWS. So today it's about introduction and what are some tools that we're going to cover in DevOps. So no, not practical, but we'll have introduction today, and from tomorrow onwards, we'll start from the tools. Whatever the tools we'll discuss. Okay. So first thing, anyone knows what is DevOps? No, in the call or what is DevOps or what generally we do. Any idea? Or is it the first time you're hearing this?
I know a little bit.
Yeah, say it, no problem. Be it is wrong or right, it doesn't matter. Listen. Okay, no, no worries.
DevOps is a methodology or process used to collaborate the development team and operations team,
Okay.
as well as DevOps is used to automate the deployment process from pushing the code to GitHub to deploying to production environment. By using some tools, we are going to automate the process.
Yeah, it's correct. Yeah. So to keep it simple, it's correct. Like, let me say in a little better. That's it. So let's first usually whenever we say something, I think I told you last time. So three things we have to remember. First thing is there is a methodology called star methodology. So let me just open correct or not. No, no, not start. Star. See, this is the star methodology. So it's a technique on how to answer. So what is star? You see here situation, task, action, and the result. This is not DevOps. This is general. I'm telling you. So this methodology I'll follow. I'll max try to follow mostly. So let's say someone asks me why you did that. Let's say uh, anything, whatever the case. Let's say someone asks me that what you didn't eat at night. Why you didn't have a dinner. So what you say usually? Oh, I'm not hungry, or you'll say I'm already full, or you're not feeling to eat, or you have some stomach ache or something. There are multiple reasons, right? So you'll give a clear answer. And what is the action that you take? You didn't had it. So what is the result? By tomorrow morning, your stomach is free without any botherings. In here, star is also similar for interview question. If you see here, and if someone asks why DevOps, first you have to say what is the current situation that we are seeing without DevOps. Let's say if DevOps is not there, what will happen or what's going to happen, and what is the change or challenge that we are about to uh, make, and for that, what are you going to do? And finally, what is the result for those actions? So to keep it simple in three steps, what is the current situation? Let's say you want to buy a car. Why you want to buy a car? So there are public transports, there are cabs, whatever the Ola or something like that. But why you want a car? There will be some situations like where an emergency came to you, maybe at night 2 o'clock or something, or in your family for someone. Public transport won't work right at the time, and I'm not sure these cabs won't come at a time. If it is Bangalore or some towns, some cities like this, it may come. But what you are in a remote village, you have to come to town for almost 10 kilometers. That is a problem, right? That is a situation. So that this to overcome this, I want a car. That is a problem. And what is the task you want to buy a car? What is the action? What you do to buy a car? You gather some money, or you take a loan. You choose the model, which I want to go for a test drive. Blah blah blah. Finally, you'll fix a date and you will get the car from the showroom. Correct. And after once you bought the car, what is the result? You can use it, right? Whenever there is an emergency. You don't need to bother about transportation issues anymore. This is how generally you say it. So try to use this star method, whenever there is a scenario that you want to explain. Because nowadays in interview, no one asks like, okay, what is DevOps or what is Linux, something like that. They don't ask it. They'll give you scenario and they'll ask you like how you resolve the situation, or have you faced the situation, or what is the approach that you're going to take. So the star method will help you, in explaining clearly what's you're going to do and what is the problem, what is going to do, what is the action, all these things. Got it? So this is star method. So try this one. I mean, not really mandatory. I'm just saying this will be very very helpful for you. I mean, okay. Now same star methodology will apply here in DevOps. Let's say what is star means first thing situation, right? So what is the situation? Let's say forget about what is DevOps. What is the situation? So without DevOps, what's happening? So what's happening is what will happen is, or let's say usually in every organization mostly forget about startups. I mean general mid-level or MNCs. We have a development team obviously in everywhere, and we'll have a QA team. We'll have operations guys, IT guys, or you have build engineers separately. So everyone will have their own teams. So what usually they do is once the developers are done, working on their whatever the task, so someone will test it. Let me write in notepad. So you can see my screen, right?
Yes, son.
Yeah. So let's say these are the three teams. So first thing they have done their part. Next, what they do, QA guys, they are testing it. Let's say QA takes maybe a week. As an example, let's say a week. Now, all good. I mean, testing also done, so no issues. Now it will go to build and release. They'll build the application and they'll release the application. Done. No issues. All these are done. Let's say development we can't change it. So testing is done for a let's say developer testing is done. It will take. I mean, because they'll test each and everything. There will be multiple scenarios, test cases. So many things. So many tools are there. So many types of testing are there. Let's forget about that. Don't worry about them. And build and release. It will happen within a day, not within an hour also, but they'll plan, they'll prepare everything. Let's say 3 days, because they need to inform the clients or stakeholders, everyone before releasing your application. Otherwise, if suddenly, You deploy it to production. Can we do that? No, it's not possible. I mean, we can do that, but we don't do that because some our customers will be using or our clients will be using our application. If we do a certain deployment without notifying to everyone, it is not a good practice. So they'll inform before deploying it. They'll choose a date. They'll inform to clients and everyone that what's going to change and what are the bug fixes. We usually call it release notes, and then finally they do it in a specific time frame or time period. I mean, like we call it maintenance window usually, or what I mean, whatever the other things, maintenance time something. So let's say how many days? 10 days it took. This is if all are success. Let's say now is another scenario. Testing started, correct? Testing started. It's going on. It's failed. Now what this guy, tester guy, will do? He'll talk to developer team, someone from dev team, saying that hey, this is this case is failed. Can you please check? What developer will do? Change, you know, change the code or whatever the logic they are written in order to pass it, and he'll push their changes again. He updated his code again. Now he'll this QA guy again test it. Let's again fail. Second time is failing. Again, it'll go back to dev team. They'll change it, and again it'll come to testing. Again it failed. Again it'll QA guys. It usually happens. This is when it's not wrong or something to fail multiple times. It's very very common. So it fails. So again developer changes it. Finally fourth time it got success. Finally success. So fourth time. Right. So almost 5 times we did the testing. And finally the testing is done. Build and release. Let's say build and release also failed. It could be due to some issues, whatever the reasons that we'll discuss later, but it failed. So what they'll do, they'll check again, they'll check everything. Okay, why it build failed, build is wrong, or some infrastructure issues, or some other permissions are not there, or there are so many reasons. So it failed, but we already have a deadline, but it's failed. So what do you do? Until they get success here also, they'll keep on checking success. Let's say finally it got success. All these are manual. As of now, what I'm telling you, all this is manual. Imagine now the scenario. These are just 3 steps. There will be multiple testings involved. You know, developer means this is not one guy, right? There will be multiple guys working with their different changes, their different features. So now QA team will be testing all those things, and um, so QA team will be testing all those things, and until it gets success. It doesn't matter what 4 times or 40 times. It has to get success. Then only it will move on to release. So these are all manual, correct? And there is one more thing here. The waiting period in between means QA guy is waiting for the code and until developer finishes it, right? Correct? I mean, of course, we have to wait. Correct? Am I correct? So let's say 3 days. He took 3 days. This guy took 3 days. So the 3 days is a waiting period for QA guys to get the code. Now testing is there. Testing fourth time it got success means how much waiting period is there. So here also waiting period. So this build and release team is waiting for the code to be get success. I mean for the testing. So here also waiting period is there. And let's say this is also failed and for a few times and we got success. and these are our customers. Here also waiting period is there. So this is the waiting period is there. Correct? This is the current scenario usually. What happens? The waiting period depends on their time, how much the time they took to test or build or write the code, something like that. So this is not a good approach, what I'm telling is because you wrote the code and QA guy is waiting until you wrote the code and you'll get the code, you test multiple times until it gets success. Again, these guys need to wait until it gets success. Then they take the code and they build it and release it. If the build fails, again, there will be a waiting period. Finally, the changes go to customer. So now, this is the current situation my company is facing. So this is the situation within Star. This is the situation which currently I'm facing. Got it right? Now, next is task. What to do for this? I want to make it faster. See, this waiting period is too much, and actually, I don't want my clients to be waiting because client giving you money every week, correct? They'll be billing on weekly basis. I mean, as an example. So why would a guy who is paying you weekly waits for few weeks to see the releases, to see the changes or updates in their application, in their product? They don't wait. They'll move to some other guys. Correct? Me as a company owner or CEO, some or a product manager, or something. I want to improve this thing, this process, whatever the process that we are using. We usually call it SDLC, SDLC, Software Development Life Cycle. SDLC have planning also. I didn't say the planning because we don't need it, but we do keep an eye on this one. Yeah, that's okay. Let's move to our second thing, task. So I want to make improve this. How to improve? What are the ways to improve? Then comes into the picture something called DevOps methodology. There is something called DevOps in market. Let's see how it works for us. Now, what is DevOps? In this scenario, how it helps? Correct? DevOps can't write the code, right? It's not a mission to write the code. So you can't change it. But whatever comes after DevOps, sorry, after writing the code, that DevOps will handle. So let's say developer have written the code, QA guy is doing the testing, build and release again by team. All these things will be done by DevOps automatically. Remember this word automatically. So this is where DevOps comes into picture. DevOps helps us means organizations, you know, to release our application faster, to release our application faster. So there won't be any waiting period. Even though there is a waiting period, it will be very, very less. Let's say now, as I told you, right, testing success at fourth time, sorry, I wish at fourth time. Means three times it failed. Three times there is a manual testing, right? No one do that anymore. Let's say we have DevOps implemented some tools and all came. So this testing will happen automatically. So you don't need to do it manually. You'll do something else, whatever other things. Correct? So DevOps comes here to automate these SDLC process, not fully. To automate this process, without manual intervention. Manual interaction means obviously without human touch, something like that. Without human doing, sitting on front of computer like that. So that's where DevOps helps. But DevOps is not an a tool name, correct? If you say Java, it's a language, isn't? You'll understand. If you say Python, it's a language. Yeah, it's a language, right? Or if you say any other tools you have, Oracle, it's a database. You know it. But what is DevOps here? DevOps is a process, let's say, or a methodology. I mean, both are same, process and methodology, which we use to automate this, to ease our release process, to make sure application is releasing frequently, so that customers also will be happy, then our organization also will be happy, correct? Yeah, as I told you, right? Customers will be paying weekly. Why would he expect to release the updates for their product 2 weeks once or monthly once? They don't expect that. He also wants faster, updates, faster releases on the product. That's where the DevOps comes. But how to do with DevOps? We use certain tools to do these things. We use certain tools to do these things. So what happens here? Let's go here. If you see here, it's a combination of cultural philosophies, practices, and tools to increase organization ability to deliver apps and applications and services at high velocity, as I told you, right? So we can release our applications faster and frequently. So improving will improve all these things actually. Whatever the testing we're doing, on whatever the things, not just testing, whatever the thing we are doing manually, it'll improve it. So benefits of DevOps, if you see speed, obviously, because we engineers, what we're doing here is like we want to release our application faster, correct? And let's say we release an application and got some issue, so it's easy to find also, easy to adapt it, easy to fix it, because we have clear vision of what's happening, where it's happening. If it is manual, we have to check each and everything. Since we are using DevOps tools, we have control over it, correct? So that's it. I mean, control, how we get control again with the DevOps tools. So that we'll see. But we have this advantage. So next is rapid delivery. Yeah, this we'll see now. For now, keep it. Rapid delivery means we're releasing the applications faster. That's all. That's it. What is this? I'll tell you at the end. Now we have like improve collaboration obviously. So since DevOps obviously developers plus operations. So it's like we're combining two separate things together to make this happen. Like let's say it's DevOps is not like usually there is separate team on operations. They just do manage the infrastructure maybe, or they won't have a communication between with the developers usually, mostly through mails and all. But here we merge it together. We merge them together. There's some there will be some shared responsibilities. What does it mean shared is we don't write the code, right? We don't write the code, but we know the functionality of what's happening. So that it is easy for us, what happens is let's say there is some issue in the application. You know nothing about it. You know nothing about the application. I don't think you can do it faster. You can fix it. It will take time. You need someone to fix it. But with this approach, what happens is you'll understand what is an application, what it does. So with that, you'll know, okay, this is what the issue is, this is where the issue is. So it'll be easy for you. These are the things usually, we get like, we do like in DevOps. This is what it helps. It'll help. Is it okay? Is it okay? Any doubt?
Okay, no, no,
Okay. Let's see. Let's come here. Let's remove this thing. I think I'm just removing this waiting period. Let's say build and release, they made it separate now. There is no build and release anymore. It's build, later they'll be release. Let's see now. Development is done. Let's forget about this step. As I told you, right? With DevOps, we'll automate this one, we'll automate this one, we'll automate this one, correct? Am I correct?
yes,
So that's what we discussed just now. With some tool, whatever tool, forget about now that now. What do you call that approach? It's not. I mean, you don't call it DevOps. You can't call it DevOps because this DevOps is the bigger picture. It's not just for automation, but here we are automating this thing. What we call this is continuous integration (CI). I mean, including build also. Let me just remove this. So all these whatever we do automate, we call it CI, continuous integration. Spelling correct. Yeah. What does that mean is it means whatever we're doing after development until the build is the package is ready to be deployed, our application is ready to be deployed, we're automating that process, right? Because developer updated some code, QA guys take it, fail, it'll go back again. I mean, go back means QA guys will tell like, hey, this is the issue, or hey, something like that. So they'll update their code again, it'll come to QA again. Again, if it is fails, it'll go back. So this continuous process will be there until like build is success. Until the build is success means test has to be success first and then it will come to build. This whole process is called CI, continuous integration. So instead of repeating it manually, so we are automating that one, that process. That's what we call continuous integration. CI, you might have heard it recently. You see, right, nowadays CI/CD, it's a regular thing. But what is the CI/CD? In those CI is this thing, continuous integration. There's something called CD, sorry, continuous delivery, continuous deployment. So now you got the CA, right? CA comes to automate this one until the build is ready, until the package is ready to be deployed. So now it means testing is done, testing is successful, and package we build the code. I mean, what is building that we'll see, but for now we'll build the code to deploy. That is also done. It means CA is successful. Now comes delivery. Let's do this first. Delivery means whatever it's done, whatever is ready with the CA, whatever the build is ready, it should be deployed somewhere, right? So delivery means releasing our application. Release our application. Obviously, after build, release is there. Release our application where to our infrastructure. It means whatever the test environment or the stage environment. So it means release our application to lower environments without manual intervention. Correct? So there is something called another release. Let's keep it. I'll tell you. Now let's imagine this continuous deployment. Both are CD if you remember. First, I mean, continuous delivery means whatever is built with the CA, it should be released to lower environments without manual intervention. That's what delivery. Okay, this is okay. Now, what is deployment? Both are same, right? Delivery deployment, the meaning is same. But what is deployment means releasing the application without manual intervention to production environments. I mean, making our application live to the customers. That's where we call deployments. Got it? Both are same, but the environment is different. The situation is different. That's it. Because if someone says CACD, they include all these three things. So if let's say in interview someone asks what is CACD, you have to say three things. CA is where like automating the process until the package is ready or until the build is ready. Next comes CD delivery, which release the package whatever we built to lower environment. There are multiple will be multiple environments for it. And what is C? Another CD is there called deployment, which releases the same package, you know, to production environment. Usually, what they generally do is release test. Let's say, no, they'll do testing again here also. Can be manual test. It can be like how how application is working. Is it working? All the features are working or not. Regular testing. That also will happen. So the CD releasing to production without manual intervention leads to which means making our application live so that every user can access it. So this is what the CA and CD means. Usually in every DevOps resume or everyone expects this to be to keep in their resumes. So we'll see that no problem. I mean we'll see how to do this, how to this, to do all these things. But it's mandatory for you to know this one. That's right. That's the main idea. So that's what about DevOps. Now, now you got it right. Let's see our star methodology now. We got the situation because there's too much waiting period and that too we're doing manually. And what is the task that we do? We implemented DevOps. I mean, we're planning to implement DevOps. Next, what is that? We did action. With DevOps, we did everything. Means we automated it with all the tools that DevOps provided. And what is the result? What is the result that happened? Our applications are released faster. We are see it's like with this CI/CD user process, we're releasing our application faster. And there is a collaboration between us and DevOps teams, sorry, development teams, as well as there is a transparency of what's happening. Like the transparency, I will tell you. Let's say, how do you know what? Let's say I'm a developer. I'm the guy who wrote the code. How do I know what they're doing, what the QA team is doing, where, how much the testing is left, or how much it's failed or got success? I have to know, right? How do you know until the QA guy says, or you have to ask them, hey, how much is it done or not? Is it no? But with DevOps, you don't need to do that because with DevOps tools or with CI/CD process, I will also have transparency. I can see what's happening. I know where it's failed, what it's failed. So this transparency is there with help of DevOps. So now is the STAR methodology worked here? Someone try to say something? Yeah, that's okay. So hope you understand this introduction. Let me open a photo. I mean, you'll understand this CI/CD process. Just a little charge. Let's go here. Simply type just type CACD. See, aims to streamline the software development life cycle, which is what we are discussing here. Correct? Let's see the images. Basic image. Let's see here. Yeah, this is also fine. All are same. Okay. CACD. So first thing is plan. Of course, developers know what we do, what we need to do. All this in plan. They'll write the code, build it, testings. If you see, release and deploy are there. Release means releasing to or test environment or staging environment, whatever lower environment. Called delivery. Deploy, continuous deployment as it was discussed, right? Deploying into production, making your application live. And operate means any kind of operation task, any issues we do, and monitor it. Again, once it release planning code, build all these things will come out. A simple way of showing it. Monitoring also, of course, our task. There will be separate team. So all these stages will have tools, even in testing also. I mean, there are multiple kinds of testing, but at DevOps level, we do a couple of testings. So we'll see each and every tool further. Okay, let's see the tools that what we're going to discuss in class. I'm removing this or let me keep in chart. Now, what are the tools that we discuss? Let's the first thing is what is this? Plan, right? We don't plan it. Code, we don't code it. Build. But first, before build, we have to test the code, right? Let's say we have to build the code or test the code. But how do we get the code from developer? Do they push it manually? Sorry, do they send you a mail or do they upload you to through Teams or Slack? No, not like that. There should be some common space where everyone can access the code and able to do it. Whether we call it Git, GitHub, what are these two tools? Both are same. I'll tell you tomorrow. We start tomorrow. That next we want to test the code. There is something called Sonar Cube for testing. What is this and all? Forget about it. When the topic comes, I'll tell you. Now build the code, right? Sorry, we'll discuss Maven to build the code. I mean, there are multiple tools. I'm picking up specific tools. Let's say you have two things which can do the same task. What you pick, whichever is comfortable for us, right? Similar way here also. Okay, don't worry. Whichever is marked or whichever is famous to use. That's right. Once I build the code, what I have to do? Deploy it. It's not a DevOps tool, but we'll discuss. Let's remove this one. Not required. I don't need to write it. I mean, I'll say it, but no need to write. Deploy it. To deploy, we deploy on servers, Linux servers somewhere or Windows laptop somewhere. Let me write it. That's okay. No worries. Now I want to automate all these things. I haven't automated this. So for that we call it Jenkins. I think you know all this one. We might have had this one. Now, as a DevOps guy, uh, as I told you, right, you need something like to monitor your infrastructure, to monitor your application. That's where we use these tools. And you'll be monitoring not only servers and everything, you'll check the logs also. Logs. So for that ELK. And DevOps core responsibility, one of the core responsibilities is, one thing is CI/CD, obviously, written here. Sorry. Another core responsibility is automation. There are multiple tools for that. We'll use Ansible. And mm, the other I missed. And of course, we have something called another automation called Terraform. Infrastructure automation. See, we don't create the servers also manually. We'll do it automatically. And that we'll see at the last. And any other things, main things I forgot. Containerization. Nowadays, we don't deploy our application directly into servers. We deploy the containers. Docker, Kubernetes. No, next, there is one more tool I forgot here. Artifactory. Let's Artifactory usually, or keep it in accessible. That's so far. Any other I missed? Any other? Do you guys know any other things which I missed? We store the code here, which we test the code, we build it. Once we build it, we have to store the package somewhere. As I told you, right? We have to keep it somewhere so that everyone can access, developer team and our team, DevOps team, so that can access. We deploy it here, and to automate all these steps, Jenkins. Now we deploy using these things, Docker and Kubernetes. These are containers. We deploy this. Let's move on that. It's not an DevOps tool. So Docker, obviously Docker Kubernetes, deploy our containers. You might have heard these things mainly. And once deployed, we have to monitor our application, monitor our servers, check the logs, Grafana ILK. And if any automation task is there, we have to do with Ansible. And if any infrastructure automation is there, we have to do with Terraform. So any other things? I don't remember. If you remember, please say it. I'll add it. Anyone, any tool, it does not matter. Correct?
I see.
Sorry? I couldn't hear you. Who's the?
Yeah, bro.
Sorry, sir. All good? Okay. I don't remember any tools. Do I? Did I miss anything? Let me check my resume once. What I get. AWS will keep it tomorrow. Later on, once DevOps is finished. It's not a DevOps tool. It's a cloud. Let me just check it. Where is it? Every tool have documentation. Don't worry about okay, I don't have documentation. What to do something like that. Every tool have documentation. It's written by me, but it's okay. Once it's finished, I'll give you. And not worry. Hmm, I'm just checking my resume.
Is RabbitMQ comes under DevOps tools itself?
It comes, but we don't discuss here. It's not really required.
Okay.
Hmm, right. I think this is it. One thing I missed is not comes under DevOps. We require web servers. We already discussed, right? Apache, Nginx as a part of Linux, correct? Hope you remember this. This are also required. There is something called Tomcat which I have written earlier and I removed it. This we'll discuss. It's not DevOps tool, but we'll discuss after maybe here, after here. But that's okay. It's not really required. And obviously, an, a scripting part is required. So Ansible is there for automation, but people use either Bash or Python to automate it. Python means not full Python, just core is fine, just for scripting. But we don't be discussing this as part of a class, as part of this class. You do practice. I'll share some few documentation, few steps how to do that you can do practice it. But these are also required. Required means for some it's not mandatory, but for some it's mandatory. At least basic knowledge will be good. I would say basic experience will be good. Okay. Yeah, these are the tools that we're going to discuss. See, there are hundreds of tools, more in DevOps, hundreds of tools. But these are very, very common tools every organization uses. Very common tools and very famous tools also, which I mentioned here. That's why. And there are some tools which doesn't have alternatives. You have to use these ones. Like let's say Terraform, you have an alternative, but majorly everyone uses Terraform. Ansible also have alternatives, but it's easy to use. Terraform cases monitoring also have alternatives, except these two. These two doesn't have alternatives, obviously. But there are, as I told you, right, one task can be done with multiple things, can be done in multiple ways. But what we choose the best way or efficient way for us to help us. So that's what we choose. So these are all the tools. I think 10 tools. Yeah, 3 to 13, 10 tools. So how much time it will take? It's not a crash course. I'm not running consultancy, but I'm thinking just a guess. I mean, just say, I'm not really sure whether this will happen, finish or not. Git 6 days, a week, let's say 7 days. So including Saturday, there won't be class obviously on Sunday. Uh, let's keep it mm, 6 days. Sonar Cube hardly 4 days. Let's keep it five. Why to bother? Sorry. Maven or maybe 3 days. Except 4 days. Nexus 4 days. Jenkins 10 days. Docker mm, 10 days obviously. Kubernetes 12 days. Grafana and Prometheus including those 6 days. ELK wants to understand Grafana, it'll keep easy, so 5 days let's say. Ansible 6 days. Terraform it's a week. Now calculate these things. 11, 18, 24, 36, 46, 56, 60, 70, 75 days. So overall, you finish in 75 days. It means 2.5 months, correct? So now August 20, yes. August 20 to September 20, September to October 20, November 5th might finish. Now, we don't have classes on Sundays, correct? Remove how many Sundays? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11, yeah, 11 Sundays. So you have to calculate 75 plus 11, 86 days. It means mid-November. November, before November Children's Day, I think, yeah, Children's Day, we'll finish the class, DevOps class. We may finish early also, we don't know. It, and it's not just DevOps, right? We're discussing AWS also. It will take a month. So, December 20. The classes will be finished by December 20. Obviously, there won't be any calls in December until January 10th or 12th. Or let's say complete January, there won't be any calls. So, you have to be ready by Jan end. So, with your resume, with your whatever the profile, the practice, everything, you have to be ready by Jan end. From Feb, you have to start your looking out for interviews. If you think it is too much time, I don't know how to change this. So I know no one wants to listen to classes these many days, but I want to say, I don't want to say half. I don't want to leave with half knowledge. I want to say whatever I know. Correct? Of course, obviously we'll miss something. I mean, I can't say the full thing. The whole tool may take years. But what I've used, what organization, what is important, what is important is not interchangeable, but what is required. So this is the plan. So November 15th, November 14th, let's say DevOps class finishes, and 1 month will take AWS by December 15th or December 20th, including Sundays. So you have to enjoy Christmas and then start your preparations. No, I mean not preparations. Preparations for interviews. Correct. So this is the plan. Any doubts so far? Anything? So this is the tools. This is the plan that we do. Hmm? Any doubts? Circle CA, yes. As I told you, right? Circle C does exactly the same thing as Jenkins, as I told you. So there are multiple things we can choose out of, to do the same task. There are multiple ways, multiple things. So we choose Jenkins instead of Circle C. That's why I didn't get to Circle C. Why? That we'll see when the Jenkins class comes. Okay. So we'll go this order only. Order won't change. I'll save this one. So order won't change so that you'll understand what comes after what. Got it?
Yeah.
So that's it for today's class. If any doubts, do let me know. If not, tomorrow we'll meet 7 o'clock, not just 7:15. Today, my laptop is slow, I can't do anything. So, tomorrow, sharp 7, we'll start with it. Got it? We have no time to waste. If you see, the plan is too big. Our deadline also is too big. I mean, too far. It's November, December. So, I'll try to see, I'll try to see, close it early as possible, but I don't skip the class. I mean, I don't miss a topic if it is required. And all you have to do is practice. That's what all I'm asking, so I don't ask any extra thing. So practice, practice. So that's it about today class. Let's meet tomorrow. We'll start DevOps. Got it?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Bye. Bye everyone.